welcome to Fortaleza. It's Brazil's fifth largest city, and it's the capital of the state of Ceará. And I will get more into detail of why I came here, but here's a little example of how I felt. As I mentioned in a previous video, the airline Gol, in my opinion, is not Brazil's best airline. And my intention in coming to Fortaleza was basically a 5-hour layover until I get to my final destination, but it turned into a cancellation. So I have no choice but to stay here for 5 days and just make the best of my stay. Now, right here, I am waiting for my Uber to take me to my hotel. Like I said, I didn't really intend to visit Fortaleza, but I'm going to make the best of my stay. If I didn't have time like I do, what I would have did is I would have just reserved another flight with a different airline going to my final destination. But since I never visited Fortaleza before, I'm going to make use of these 5 days exploring this city. And right here, I have arrived at my hotel, and the 10 minutes in choosing this hotel, I did make sure that this hotel is convenient to everything. So you probably can't see very well because it's dark, but right here is the beach. Well, you can see the waves right there. So I did make sure that it is a beach location. And so far, this city gives me the vibes of me first visiting Recife a long time ago. But hopefully I will have fun and like this city like I do Recife. We will see. Now you're able to see much better. It's morning time, and looking down from our balcony, you'll be able to see the beach much better. The waters is crystal blue. Not that many people out, so it's perfect time to go out and explore the city. Here starts the beginning of my exploring the city. My hotel is right in front of the beach, Praia de Iracema. And we're going to find out what does the city have to offer. Again, this is my first time visiting Fortaleza. I'm continuing getting the vibes of visiting Recife a little. But so far, so good. The beach is not crowded. Since this destination was not planned, I'm just going to go day by day, just planning out things, doing random things. But I'm glad that it happened the way it did, because my next destination I visited so many times, I was able to talk to the owner of the apartment that I have in my next destination, and it was no problem to change the dates, so that's a plus. So it is a good idea when you revisit cities over and over again. If you build a rapport with the owner of the Airbnb or whatever apartment or whatever place that you choose to stay in, if you build a rapport with them, when you have a problem like this, the end result is it's not a big problem to change dates or whatever you have to do. So this is Brazil's fifth largest city, Fortaleza. If you visited Brazil before, just by the looks of this area, the beach and everything, What other Brazilian city does Fortaleza remind you of? For me, it's Recife. What Fortaleza is known for is its beaches. So, just by the looks of it so far, I can see why. Like I said, it's crystal clear blue waters. And if you have a thought of is Fortaleza safe to travel to, I would say again, it's no such thing as safe or the safest city in Brazil. Crime is everywhere, so just stay aware and stay safe. That's all I can say about that. I had friends that got robbed all the way down in southern Brazil to Manaus. So it happens everywhere in Brazil, not just in Rio or Sao Paulo, but everywhere, even the smallest cities you could think of in Brazil. It's crime there also. So just, stay aware of your surroundings. And what you just saw to your left is a Japanese garden. And you may know that outside of Japan, Brazil has the largest Japanese community. And not necessarily when you visit different cities in Brazil that has a good, large enough Japanese community that all of them can speak Japanese. When I first went to Sao Paulo, I could say about, I want to say like 100% of the Japanese people that I ran into, they did not speak Japanese. They only spoke Brazilian Portuguese. So just by seeing that Japanese garden, I'm kind of interested in seeing where is the Japanese community in Fortaleza. Is it like near the beach or is further near the airport? I'm kind of interested in seeing that. We're going to take a little walk along the beach and make a comparison of this beach in Fortaleza compared to other beaches you might have visited in Brazil, including myself. And so far, it doesn't take me a long time just to look at a beach and make my assumption of whether it's a good beach or bad beach or whether I like it or not. Just by the look of it so far, I do like it. But comparing this beach to, let me see, other beaches that I visited in Brazil, would I consider this beach here in my top 5? And I would say, give me a couple of seconds. So far, I would say yes, it's in my top 5. Just from just the layout of the beach, how convenient it is to stores, shopping malls. Yeah, I would say that this beach right here is in my top 5. And this is just one beach. So just imagine other beaches in Fortaleza if they look like this. When it comes to my top 5 beaches, my list is always changing. And since I visited Balneario for my first time, I would say most definitely the beaches there, since it's just so many and there's so much going on there, is in my top 5. And the safety is just a little bit better than the rest of my beaches that's in my top 5 list. But like I said before, every place is dangerous. That's how you have to think about it. But yeah, Balneario is on my list. And I would say that my new list has added Fortaleza to that top 5 list. Not in any order, but of course, I'm going to throw Rio on that list. I don't know if it's going to be number 1 or number 2. It's not in any order, but it is most definitely on the list just because of many reasons. There's so much you can do in Rio, just in the state alone. And the other ones I'm not going to mention right now because I'm going to revisit some of these places and you'll see for yourself. So it's getting hot. I'm about to grab me some snacks or find me something to eat and go back to my hotel and most likely end up going to the shopping mall and just to see the local area, my surrounding areas, what's near my hotel. With all this walking, I got to stay hydrated, so I did get me some water, and I'm just walking around now, just exploring the different things I see near my hotel. and it is very hot, but I visited hotter countries than Brazil. To me, Brazil, on the hot factor, it's hot, but it's not as hot as places I visited. Like, for example, when I went to Cape Verde, to me, that was hot. I don't know if it was because I was doing a lot of walking in that country, but it was really hot there compared to Brazil. To me, it's no comparison. Also, when I visited Southeast Asia to Thailand and Singapore, it was hot. Even when I visited Indonesia and Bali, to me, that was hot. Compared to Brazil hotness, it's not that bad here, in my opinion. I like to find local dishes, if it is any, when I go to a new city, because Brazil is a big country, so you have some states and some cities that offer foods that you probably never see in other places in Brazil. And just to come off the top of my head and think of those places, I know one is most definitely Manaus. There's some fruits there I never seen anywhere else except for in Manaus. And also Salvador Bahia. There's dishes there that I never seen in other places in Brazil. Also, that was the first place I visited that they offered stingray on their menu. And especially if you're American, stingray, we don't really have that as a food. You can't have one as a pet. And the first time I ever seen stingray on the menu was in Singapore many, many years ago. So I was surprised that Salvador offered that. And Sao Paulo just has everything, everything that other Brazilian states and cities have, you can find it in Sao Paulo. But yeah, it's always interesting. And right here, this is the Japanese garden. I'm not going to go into it and see what's going on, but I will be going to the shopping mall. So right now I'm waiting for my Uber. And that's about it for today. So make sure you subscribe and peace out.